always from the heart of the city, and now on demand 24/7 on the CHFI website. This is the soundtrack to Lavender and Lilac. And I'm Don Jackson. With lovers and other strangers around the world on the internet. Call it lilac, lavender, amethyst. This gentle little sister of purple, but without its regal airs, has such a sunny nature that every other color, from cream to blue, is happy to have it around. Unquote. An excerpt from a pictorial and article called Bring Me Violet by Kim Waller, and featured in the August 01 issue of Victoria magazine. Our lilac trees are in bloom once again. The fragrance from the one just outside the kitchen window slips through that open window on a gentle breeze as I enjoy my first coffee of the morning. As Steve Winwood said in one of his songs, shadows in purple thrill me, and they will you too tonight, for I've saved some of that fragrance just for you. Lovers and Other Strangers. From CHFI.com. Fergie and Big Girls Don't Cry, and Rod Stewart with These Foolish Things. Now on demand 24/7 from the CHFI website and iTunes. Lovers and Other Strangers. I'm Don Jackson. This is an excerpt from the column Books, penned by Laura Matthews and featured in the June 1995 issue of Glamour magazine. It was written about practical magic by Alice Hoffman. The scene in the beginning of the book is, and I quote, Long Island's flat suburbs, where Sally Owens has quietly relocated herself and her two now fatherless girls. Sally had wanted to put some distance between her impressionable children and the loony New England aunts with whom Sally and her sister went to live after their parents died. The aunts make money boiling up love potions and dispensing bars of a special black soap. The better to wash him out of your hair? To desperate women not unlike Sally's wayward sister Jillian, who on a warm June night pulls up in the driveway dragging along her usual pack of trouble. There, slumped over dead in the front seat of the car, is a cute guy named Jimmy, who used to be Jillian's meanest spit boyfriend. Being less clever than the aunts at casting spells for this sort of situation, the sisters bury him under the lilac bushes. Unquote. And after reading something else about lilacs, that doesn't surprise me in the least. In Penhaligon's scented treasury of verse and prose, The Language of Flowers, written by Sheila Pickles, published by Harmony Books, she writes of the lilac, which in the language of flowers means first emotions of love. She says, and I quote, The lilac is a member of the olive family. It is probable that the plant originated in Greece or southern Europe. Country people call it Mayflower and lily oak, and many are superstitious about bringing it indoors, particularly the white variety, whose meaning is youthful innocence. Like many white flowers, it is also associated with death, and indeed, it refuses to bloom if another lilac is cut down in the garden. It is curious that in the language of flowers, the lilac should symbolize such pure sentiments. For in some villages, a lilac branch is said to signify a broken engagement, unquote. Truman Capote, in Other Voices, Other Rooms, wrote, "The true beloveds of this world are in their lovers' eyes. Lilacs opening, ship lights, school bells, a landscape, remembered conversations, friends, a child's Sunday, lost voices, one's favorite suit, autumn and all seasons, memory, yes, it being the earth and water of existence, memory." One of my favorite writings, Truman Capote and Other Voices, Other Rooms. Lovers and Other Strangers from CHFI.com. Lovers and Other Strangers from CHFI.com. Faith Hill from the original motion picture soundtrack to Practical Magic and This Kiss, and Chris Isaak with A Wicked Game. The poet Edna St. Vincent Millay wrote, "In a fine country, in a sunny country, among the hills I knew, I built a house for the wren that lives in the orchard, and a house for you. The house I built for the wren had a round entrance, neat and very small. But the house I built for you had a great doorway, for a lady proud and tall. You came from a country where the shrubby, sweet lavender lives the mild winter through. The lavender died each winter in the garden of the house I built for you. You were troubled and came to me because the farmer called the autumn the fall. You thought that a country where the lavender died in the winter was not a country at all. The wrens return each year to the house in the orchard. They have lived, they have seen the world, they know what's best for a wren and his wife. In the handsome house I gave them, they build their twiggy nest. But you have gone home to a leaky castle across the sea, to lie awake in linen, smelling of lavender, and hear the nightingale, and long for me." Lovers and Other Strangers from CHFI.com. Lovers and Other Strangers, now available online to fit your busy lifestyle. 3 Doors Down Without You, Burton Cummings with a Dream, and Harry Connick Jr., and some classic Stardust. The lilacs, bending many a year, with purple load will hang. The bees will not forget the tune their old forefathers sang. An excerpt from Nature's Changes by Emily Dickinson. And Louise Driscoll write, "My lilac trees are old and tall. I cannot reach their blooms at all. They send their perfume over trees and roofs and streets to find the bees. So like my own lilac tree at home." And this from the 1990 edition of the Friendship Book of Francis Gay, published by D.C. Thompson and Company. in London, England. Gay writes, and I quote, "I have a large lavender bush in my garden. The bees love it, and I enjoy watching them flying to and fro gathering nectar. One day, a particularly industrious bee caught my eye. It was positively overloaded. Several times it tried to take off, only to topple back into the bush, and yet it still couldn't resist the call of the nectar. Up the stem to the flower spike it climbed, time after time, trying to add yet more to its load. Some of us are like that bee, aren't we? We overload our lives. We try to do too much within the limited hours of each day, and the result, like that bee, we fall back again and again. Remember this little story when next you are tempted to cram too much into your life." Unquote. I've seen quite a few bumblebees about already. Would imagine my lilac trees are a feast after their long winter's nap. Lovers and Other Strangers from CHFI.com. The Temptations with My Girl and James Taylor, and how sweet it is. Lovers and Other Strangers. And still she slept an azure-lidded sleep, in blanched linen, smooth and lavendered. The words of Keats. In Penhaligon's scented treasury of verse and prose, The Language of Flowers by Sheila Pickles was this about lavender. For centuries, lavender has been used in the home to scent linen chests, perfume soap, and eau de cologne, and as an herbal cure. The Elizabethans scattered it on the floor to scent their houses and deter moths and insects. According to folklore, small poisonous snakes known as asps like to lie under lavender bushes. So people grew to distrust the plant, and the language of lavender came to express exactly that sentiment. Distrust. Unquote. In the past, I've discovered the occasional garden snake sunning itself on the rocks that surround my pond. But it's not here for the lavender or the lilac. Lovers and Other Strangers from CHFI.com. Lovers and Other Strangers, online and on demand from CHFI.com and iTunes. Sade's Smooth Operator. What was that about a snake under a lavender bush? At the beginning of the hour, I featured some excerpts from a review of the book Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman. Of course, it was later made into a film that starred Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock. At the end of the film is a great line. Can love travel back in time and heal a broken heart? There's some things, though, I know for certain. Always throw spilled salt over your left shoulder. Keep rosemary by your garden gate. Plant lavender for luck. Fall in love whenever you can. Lovers and Other Strangers from CHFI.com. Good night, sweet dreams. I'm Don Jackson.